Hey everyone, and welcome as we continue our study through the New Testament Gospels, looking at the 250 events in the life of Jesus. And if you've been following along with us, we're on the other side of the resurrection, and Jesus has been appearing to some women, and he appeared to two guys on a that was walking on the road. And today he appears to his disciples. And so we're going to look at this from Luke 24, verses 36 through 43. It's also mentioned in Mark, and it's mentioned in John, as you can see here. So, but we're gonna do Luke. Luke goes into a little bit more detail. If you followed yesterday's, we saw the two that were on the road to Emmaus, and so they tell their story to the disciples and how they had recognized him. And we start off with verse 36. It says, and just as they were telling about it, Jesus himself suddenly appeared there among them. Peace be with you, he said. But the whole group was startled and frightened, thinking they were seeing a ghost. As I'm sure they were. They were shocked. If someone just suddenly appeared in the room with you, it would throw you back a little bit. In verse 38, he says, "Why are you frightened?" He asked. "Why are your hearts filled with doubt? Look at my hands, look at my feet. You can see that it's really me. Touch me and make sure that I am not a ghost, because ghosts don't have bodies, as you can see that I do." As he spoke, he showed them his hands and his feet. They stood there in disbelief, filled with joy and wonder. Then he asked them, "Do you have anything to eat?" I like that. And there's a reason behind this. We'll talk about it. They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he ate it as they watched. Then he said, "When I was with you before," oh, I'm sorry, we'll stop there. We'll stop there. He said, and they gave him something to eat. And so we see this interaction here that we have with Jesus and his disciples. And the thing here that we have to realize and see is that Jesus' body was not a figment of the imagination or the appearance of a ghost or a spirit, right? The disciples actually touched him. He ate food, and that was the part of the reason, right? He was proving to them that he was still had a physical body, still ate, and wasn't a ghost or some sort of spirit. His resurrection was literal. It was a literal resurrection and physical. He was not like, some people will try to say that he was a disembodied spirit or something. No, he was his body. He was literally risen from the grave. But here's the one thing we do have to realize: his body wasn't a restored human body like with Lazarus, right? With Lazarus, it was restoration of the body that he already had. We saw that in John 11 when we read about that. But he was able to. Jesus was able to appear and disappear, right? And just do things that it looked like he wasn't able to do whenever he was in the other human form that he had. So this seems to be a different type of body, a different, this his resurrected body was immortal that we see, and it was different. And so more than likely, this is the kind of body we will be given at the resurrection of the dead. You can see that in 1 Corinthians 15. Read about that. So I think that's part of the reason why he looked a different, to them, because I think he had a different body. But also I think for a lot of it, you didn't recognize him because of the shock around it. You weren't expecting it to be him, so it almost took like a double take or triple take to realize, oh, this is Jesus. And so this is a shorter lesson, but again, as we look through these and go through these, he's just simply going around and appearing to the different disciples, the different apostles. Tomorrow we're gonna see him appear to Thomas. We'll see part of the reason why Thomas got the name Doubting Thomas. But this is all written evidence to show that Jesus showed himself to multiple people, not just his disciples, not just his apostles, but other people too. Who had been either followers of his or were following him, like following his ministry and stuff like that we see. And so we see that he appears to, and we're going to see as we go through, he appears to them several times, teaches them, and then before he goes back into heaven. So this is the last week. Starting this week, this is the last week of this study. We'll do 7 more days, and then we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll get into some other studies. But as always, I appreciate everyone who's been following along the entire time. The comments, the questions, those type of things. Really do appreciate it, and I look forward to the next study we do. As always, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that, because again, get notifications, keep you updated with what we're doing, and so you see the videos when they're posted. But as always, I appreciate everyone for watching.